So when you do your site survey, you need to keep a couple of things in mind. And the first one is probably the capacity. So as soon as you see your event site, how big is it? How many square meters do you have, or how many square footage is that event site? The size of your event will determine the capacity. So how many people do you expect at your event? How many tickets do you need to sell to break even, for example? And does your event site allow for that? Is there any room to grow, and or is it way too big? So you keep that in mind, and the capacity is something that I would say is probably high up there in order to make sure that it all makes sense for you. And obviously you need to look at your site design. So what is it exactly that you have in mind? So when you see your event site, you might want to be extremely creative with building constructions, or you want to have several stages. Well, does that actually fit on your event site? How many food vendors do you want? Are there enough spaces for people to sit down or lie down or eat something? So how you design your site depends obviously on your site survey, but it's something that you need to keep in mind when you do your site survey. So what is it actually that you have in mind? The bigger the site is, the more it will affect your staffing levels as well. So if you have a huge site and that site needs fencing, which will cost money, but you probably also need to have security guards there as well then. So make sure that you are realistic and you think of the cost involved when you choose your location as well. When you choose your location, you need to look at the obstacles. So for example, I've been to a music festival where there was a river running through the event site. Now, a stunning event site, don't get me wrong, but it also means that all of a sudden you need a lifeguard because people are swimming in the river. So it has complications. So make sure you think of that. So when you do your site survey, you should actually place yourself in the shoes of your audience, of one of your visitors. So if you come through the entrance, what will you do? Where will you have your food? Where will you sit down to rest? Or where will you lie down to rest? Where will you meet with your friends? Where will you buy your food tokens or your drink tokens? What are the bottleneck areas? So really, put yourself in the shoes of your audience. Is there stuff that they can trip over? Is there stuff that they can climb on top of or sit on? And if they can climb on stuff, will they jump off stuff? Will they run into other guests at certain areas? So how will you actually make sure that your site serves the purpose of your event, but more importantly, is a safe event? So make sure you do your site survey properly and think it through. Quite often when you do your first site survey, you go back, you change your plans a little bit, and I would say go back again and do another site survey. Look at it with fresh eyes. Take someone else with you to help you to get new ideas as well, because it's important. It's your event, remember.